Thank you so much for joining us today for our updated Employer Services Portal overview. My name is Danielle Siebert, and I'm going to go over for you the new updates. We're really glad you could join us today. I'm the product owner of the Employer Services Portal here at Delta Dental of Minnesota. We're going to go over how to access the updates. We're going to show you navigation updates. So we'll have a brand new homepage, brand new eligibility screens, billing pages with a new reporting queue, user administration pages, and finally, we're going to go over some contact information for you to contact us in the future. First thing we're going to cover is how to access the updates, what to expect, and timing. Our new system with the updates did go live on Monday, so we're all set for you to access the updates. If you use a favorites for your benefit manager toolkit, you will land here. You can see that this is where you normally enter your username and password. At the top, it says Attention Delta Dental of Minnesota. The updated Employer Service Portal is live. You can go ahead and click on our website that it links there for you, deltadentalmn.org/ESP, to access the updates. You can go directly to that URL if you prefer. When you get there, you will use your current username. All users, not just super users, will need to reset their password in order to access the updates. First item you do is go ahead and enter your current username where it says username, same as the previous site. Then it says here, upon your first time login to the new site, please go here to set your password. You click on the teal go here, and then it will walk you through how to reset your password. You will receive an email from portalsupport@deltadentalmn.org. Now let's go in to see what it looks like. Your home page has changed. Here in the left-hand top, you can click on our logo at any time to return to the home page. We have embedded for you a portal updates tour. So you can go ahead and click on this at any time. It walks you through the left-hand navigation bar and a couple other updates for you. We have a new predictive search. So if you have multiple client numbers, if you just start to enter the group name, it'll go ahead and find them for you. If you just have one, then it will be there at all the time. In addition, it stays there while you go from tab to tab, so you don't have to re-enter the information. Then over to the right-hand side, we have a tooth that takes you to our Find a Dentist tool. Then you have a question mark that takes you to our FAQ. And finally, you have the person there that's your profile. You can go ahead and log out there as well. On the home page, you have access to a few items. So we have a quick link to our quick tips. We have compiled a number of topics that we typically get questions on and have step-by-step instructions for you. So if you click there, it'll take you back to our main website, and we have it split into eligibility, billing, and users. How to transfer a member, term a member, add a member. You can also view your new billing screens and different information about those. You can download all the guides at once or click on them individually. The second tab you have there takes you directly to our FAQ section within the portal. If you can click on type of question, you can search any type of question. If you're not finding what you need, you can go ahead and click on eligibility, billing, benefits, banking, user administration, any of the tabs there that will show you the questions we have tagged in that topic. So for example, you can see here we have 38 questions that fit the benefits criteria. And the final icon on that home page is our portal video. That'll take you to a video on YouTube that shows you an overview of the updates within the portal. Another tip within the tool is we have a navigation pane. The navigation pane will take you from screen to screen. So for example, in this one, we would be on page 4. And if we needed to go back to page 3, we simply click on page 3, 2, 1, eligibility, and so forth. First thing we're going to cover is that top left navigation of eligibility. We're going to show you how to search subscribers, update subscribers and dependents, how to add a new subscriber, transfer and term, as well as print an ID card. So let's start with searching our subscribers. You can search two ways: subscriber ID, which is the social security number, and or name. Also, you can search by alternate ID in that subscriber ID field. Once you enter those, then the submit button turns green. You can enter the ID or the name, not both. Once you hit submit, you can see the members that meet the criteria. So here you can see we have 2 members that met the criteria. Be sure you're selecting the right one, and then go ahead and click on the subscriber ID to launch the subscriber overview page. Once you're on that subscriber overview page, you can verify information. If you have the right access to edit information, then you can edit their name, address, date of birth, add any special attributes, transfer the member, and or term coverage. Simply by clicking Edit Info, opens up the fields on that screen in order for you to update them. You can add a special attribute. Some of our clients have COBRA subclients, some of them do not. If you have a COBRA subclient, you'll go ahead and use the transfer function as you do today. If you do not, you can also use the special attribute function that you have today. Simply add COBRA with a start date, no end date is required, and click Save. In that subscriber overview page, you have 2 green buttons underneath the address. The 2 green buttons are term and transfer. First, let's go over the term. So you click on the term, and then a pop-up window comes up. That pop-up window will show you all the members. It will also give you the coverage term date box. We do use the first day without coverage. So if your coverage ends on 10/31, we ask that you enter 11/1. You would also enter a coverage term reason and then hit submit. That gray button will turn green when it's ready for you to submit. It'll give you a confirmation at the bottom of the screen that it has been successfully terminated. Also, if you're terming in the future, it'll pop up a quick warning for you to reference our history tab. It will tell you the coverage term date is greater than today, select to continue. So you just put a check in that select box. It also tells you can see the subscriber history tab for further date transmission confirmation. So it's changed a little bit in terms of our members, subscribers stay active until that termination date. So as you can see here, we do have a teal colored box that indicates this member is active. They will stay like that until their termination date. So there's 2 spots that you have confirmation that your change took place. You can, 1, it'll tell you at the time that the termination was successful, and 2, it comes on the history tab. So you have that subscriber information for your subscriber overview as our first tab, and then the second tab is the history tab. You can go ahead and select that, and you can see our eligibility transaction history. You also have a down arrow that you can further expand and see coverage type history. Let's walk through a few eligibility scenarios. So you accidentally termed too soon. You termed on 10/1 instead of 11/1. No problem. You can go ahead and send that to our eligibility and they'll fix that date for you. Otherwise, you can wait until the termination date and reinstate. That would be your preference of which you prefer. We're happy to do it for you. Another one we have is you've termed too late. So you entered 10/1 and it should have been 9/1. Again, no problem. This one though, you can enter it yourself. You can term 9/1, watch for your confirmation at the bottom of the screen, and then go to the history tab. Now here's another one. You termed, but you didn't mean to term the member. You need to remove that termination date altogether. So maybe they've stayed on employment or there's some circumstance that has changed. Again, no problem. Email our eligibility team and they can go ahead and remove the date completely, and or you can wait for the termination date and reinstate. You can see here that coverage changes to inactive on that termination date. Once that coverage turns to inactive and turns gray, you have the option to reinstate. So there's a button that comes at the bottom of the screen that changes to green and appears once that member is inactive. That's our reinstate button. You go ahead and click on that. A pop-up window comes up where you select the effective date. Select the effective date of the reinstatement, and then you also select the members that you would like to bring back. We're not assuming that you want to bring all members back that you had previously covered, so you select who you'd like to bring back. Be sure to do that. Also, be sure to verify anybody you've entered and click submit. One thing is it does show all members that have been covered under this member's policy at any time. So as you can see here, I accidentally selected 2 spouses, and we can't have 2 spouses on the plan. So this little red error message has told me I can't have 2 spouses. So I go back and I select the one that should not be covered, and then I click submit again. Our third tab within eligibility is replacement ID cards. You have your subscriber information at the start. Your second one is history, and then you have replacement ID cards. So we have reformatted our ID cards so they look a little more like ID cards. You can go ahead and print them. One kind of cool tool is you can print to PDF and then go ahead and email it off to your members. You can order a printed ID card here. It does go to the employer if that's how your group is set up, or to the member if that's how your group is set up. Easiest to email a PDF so that the member has it electronically. From your subscriber overview screen, we can also transfer. So back to those 2 green buttons that are underneath the subscriber overview. In this case, I'd like to transfer. I can transfer from one SIAM client to another, from one group to another. If I have a PPO plan and a Premier plan, I can move between the 2. Go ahead and select the new client. You just type the name. Then I pick the subclient that they should be enrolled in. Double check you have the information right, choose your effective date, and then go ahead and choose the members that you would like to transfer. Again, we're not assuming you'd like to transfer everybody, so go ahead and pick the members that should transfer coverage. Re-verify the information and then press save. Once you hit that save, it will return you to the eligibility landing page. That eligibility landing page will allow you to search by subscriber ID and/or by the member's name, the subscriber's name. Both lines of coverage will show up for you, and you'll see that one is active and one is inactive. You can always go to the history tab for further verification as well. All right, let's go and add a subscriber. So we go back to that eligibility landing page. We choose the second tab, which is add subscriber. Once we are here, we want to make sure we're on the right client. The top navigation of the predictive search, as well as the one below under add subscriber, need to be the same. They read each other, so either place that you change it, it'll be accurate. You can then enter the subscriber ID, which is the subscriber's social security number. Enter it twice to make sure it's right. We have security measures in place that we don't have multiple social security numbers the same in our system, so it will give you an error message if we have that already in our system. If that's the case, you can go ahead and email our eligibility team and we'd be happy to add that member for you. Once you click add, there are 9 required fields. So in the event you do need to email our eligibility team, please be sure to include these 9 required fields in addition to your client number. You'll need your subclient number, the eligibility status reason, a hire date, effective date, first and last name, birth date, gender, and address. Once you have all that information entered, the gray save button turns green and you can go ahead and save your record. You're all done unless you have dependents that you need added. Down below the subscriber information, you have a green add dependent field. Go ahead and click on that add dependent button. A pop-up screen will come up and you can go ahead and add the dependent information. There's minimal information that is required for dependents, just that status reason, when you want them effective, first and last name, as well as dependent type and date of birth. The address will feed from the subscriber as long as it is the same, but you do have an option to enter it if it's different. Social Security number is not needed for dependents unless they're triplets or twins. It is helpful for us to have that for claims processing. We do have some triplets and twins with the same name and same date of birth, so it is helpful to have that differentiator. Once you have the information entered, go ahead and press save if you're all done. If you have another dependent to add, you can hit save and add another. Now we're going to move on to our billing navigation updates. We'll show you how to navigate the new accounts receivable page. We'll give you easy access to your consolidated invoices and subscriber listings. I'll show you how to order past invoices as well as order invoices at the subclient level. Here's where we land when we click on billing. This is our new billing landing page. Default is AR summary, previously known as consolidated invoices. Consolidations just simply mean we've added one or more subclients together for you to give you ease of access to your bills. The next piece that we've added is total balance due. If you have one subclient number, this is completely your overall total balance due. If you have more than one client number, this is for the client that you have selected. Then you do have the option to sign up for electronic payment. So you can go ahead and click on electronic payment information. If you've already signed up, we have your information and we'll continue to ACH that amount. You can click on this to change and or sign up though. Another piece is you can look at history. On this landing page, it defaults from 0 to 3 months. It is pulling a lot of data, so sometimes it takes a second or two to pull it all in for you. Then you can change it to 4 to 6 months, 7 to 9 months, all the way up to 18 months. Currently, it's back to December of 2019, so each month we build up to that 18 months. Now let's go through the chart down below. First, we have our invoice item number that matches that invoice. We have the date it issued as well as the description. The description is the claims ending, the admin, risk, on account. It'll tell you what that line item is covering for you. The next few columns are your summary subclient ID. Then your summary subclient name. So I mentioned consolidations and they're adding up. They add up to a specific level. Then you have your subclient ID, the invoice amount, the due date, and then you have payment/credits, as well as remaining balance. And the final two columns are invoice and invoice details. Your invoice details will go immediately to your downloads. Your invoice will go immediately to your downloads, so be sure to check on that. And your invoice details will go to our new reporting queue. The new reporting queue is this image up above here where it has been successfully requested. You click on that, or you can return here anytime and click on the reporting on the left-hand navigation bar. Then our second tab under our billing is the first one we mentioned was the AR summary invoices at the consolidated level. Then you have billing reports. So if you click on billing reports, you can order different reports from here. First thing we do is select, are we looking at consolidations or are we looking at non-consolidated? So do we want to look at one subgroup at a time or multiples? The other piece, it defaults to active. So if you're interested in looking at inactive, you would just go ahead and uncheck that and see your inactive subgroups as well. Once we've decided we're going to do this at the non-consolidated level, then we go ahead and pick which subclients. So in this case, I've chosen subclients 4 and 5. Then I pick the month that I'm interested in, back to December of 2019. The reporting system likes to have you order one type of report at a time. So I need Excel and I need PDF. So I go ahead and select the Excels that I'd like. Then I go ahead and select the PDFs. On my Excels, I would go ahead and select export. And then on my PDFs, I would go ahead and select export 2 different times. But they'll all show up in my reporting queue, and they'll be listed there for 30 days. Once I open them, then they will be removed from the queue to keep your queue up to date. And then it also sometimes takes a little bit to show up and fully load. So those bigger ones, give it about 30 seconds. The final tab we're going to go through is the Users tab. This is the area where we're going to show you how to add new users and navigate your current users. Again, left-hand navigation, last tab, Users. From here, we get to search. If you have a number of users, you can see that you can search. If you have just a few, then you can see them all at glance. Another piece here is we can filter by role. So if we wanted to look at all of our users at once, we could filter out just users. If we wanted to look at all the delegates at once, we could filter those as well. A number of questions come in. What is the difference between a delegate and a user? A delegate is somebody that the super user has gifted their powers to. So that delegate can do everything the super user can do. They can add new users. Users themselves do not add new users. They also do not have this tab in their view. You can see the status of all your users as well. They'll be pending, active, or inactive. Those that are pending simply just have not come in here and set up their new password yet. Those that are active have come in, set up their new password, and they're good to go. The ones that are inactive are the ones that you've removed the access from. You also can see their last login date. Sometimes helpful for yourself if you're thinking, oh, I did something on a day, and you can check if you logged in that day, and or just to see when your staff is logging in. All right, let's go ahead and add a new user. So from that user landing page, we have add user. You go ahead and enter their first name and last name, what type of role you'd like them to have, and find the company that they should have access to. You can use their email as their user ID, so that is a new feature. In addition, a new feature is you don't have to set their password anymore. Once you save this and the permissions, they'll get an email to go ahead and finish their setup. Permissions are the same in terms of you can select update eligibility or read-only eligibility, one or the other, and you can give them billing access. You can also give access by client or subclient. You choose. And then you press save. That is all I have for you today. So I really appreciate you joining me. And if you have some questions and you'd like us to be addressed, we are more than happy. We'd love to hear from you. You can go ahead and email client superuser at deltadentalmn.org, or you can give us a call at 1-866-398-9480. Password resets are going to come from the email portal support@deltadentalmn.org. And as a reminder, to get access to those updates, you go to deltadentalmn.org/ESP. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you find the updates and information helpful.